so this is going to be a replay review of a Silver 2 Cloak and Dagger. Just off the rip, don't use your E. Because I imagine if you're doing it now, and maybe you're doing it on other maps too, where there's instant pressure, don't use your E before your team is like fighting and taking damage.
Trouble has arrived. What a relief.
He is walking a little bit further up here and not stopping. About the positioning I want us to be in. Make sure that we can actively see and heal our front line. I do like the switching the cloak for vulnerable wall there. I think you got a lot of value out of it, and your thing and Wolverine weren't necessarily at the most risk of dying here, so. I wouldn't be swapping the cloak here. Your thing is definitely taking a lot of pressure right now, and cloak's damage is minimal. Like it's only a little bit, and the main reason you want to swap to cloak for poking damage is for your like vulnerable wall, not for your primary fire. Because you notice while you did that thing actually took a bunch of damage, and we want to avoid our front line or anyone on our team really taking an unnecessarily large amount of damage without being healed.
My time to shine.
You want to make sure you're throwing your dome where your team is actively like under pressure and taking damage over time. So like if you're getting dove by someone, like let's see, where's their Iron Fist? You see they have an Iron Fist. This guy is the kind of character who could be like flanking and diving you. If that guy's on top of you, you could like throw your dome on yourself and ideally close to anyone around you. But if we're not getting dove here, the place, especially during a big fight like this, the place we want to be dropping our dome is going to be probably on our front line where they're taking a bunch of pressure. You see this guy's got like 2 or 3 people fighting him. I'd be dropping my dome over here to help this guy, if anywhere.
Get ready. Pick up the bad guys. My time to shine.
Yeah, so your team is down in numbers a lot now. We just want to regroup here and avoid having anyone die or use any ults.
Bring on the chaos. I unleash the shunt.
Okay, so that Loki ulting there is an example of something we don't want to have happen because, I mean, also Loki shouldn't really copy Strange for a few reasons. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but ideally we would have Loki copy either you or Mantis. Those ults are the best choice, 99 times out of 100. Yeah, so we want to make sure we're regrouping and having our whole team for a fight, or at least fighting when we have even or more numbers than the enemy. And right now we are at a numbers disadvantage. We have less players alive in our team than they have on theirs. You can see the thing is dead, Wolverine's on the way back. And what not doing that can result in is staggering, which is where one or more players in your team die before your team has a chance to regroup, and then your team has to wait for those characters to come back before they can actually fight. And the really bad thing about staggering too, the really dangerous thing, is you can do it on repeat, where like these guys go in and die, and then they respawn, and while that's happening, the next people come in and die and are respawning, and there's never like a proper coordinated fight. That is a very, very important thing to avoid having happen. And this is how it happens right here. Also need to focus on healing here. We just saw Strange walk behind us with like, I mean, look at him. He's got like 1 HP right now. When we're in cloak form damaging, we need to focus more on healing for sure. There's also a Mantis nailing us on the left there. I would fade, especially because we know that our dome is almost off cooldown. So what we can do is we can be fading as Cloak, hiding behind here for a second and instantly throwing our dome down on ourselves. That way we can stay alive and not die. That just shows a little bit of a lack of awareness and maybe a lack of understanding of how to deal with someone pressuring us. Okay, so right now our team is at a big numbers disadvantage. You notice that several of us die. We see Fantastic and Loki are currently dead, and you've got 2 people that are waiting in like on the way back from spawn, and your Venom's going right now. I'd use my mic, communicate the Venom, and say, hey, can we wait a second? Like, let's get our team back. We do not want to go along with this play. This is not it. Like I wouldn't go further than like right here. This Venom just needs to get out, and if they go in and die by themselves, that's not on you. That's on them. Just wait here and don't risk you dying as well.
Those little spiders pack a punch. Be careful.
I'll say I am glad that we don't ult here because it could be tempting to try and ult and save this guy. But again, it's not worth it because our team is not here for the fight. So our defensive ult, all it would do is like stall for our team getting back a little bit, but like that's not how we want to use a defensive ulti. We want to use it to actually win a fight. And us dying there is really bad because now our team is actually down a support for this whole fight. Let's watch what happens while you're dead. Okay, so Venom actually went and died. Again, Venom going in the first place was not really on your fault. Not really on you. Wolverine went in and died. Thing went in and died. You see, we've got this kind of repeat stagger going on. This is going to be the first fight in a while that we've had that's actually our whole team here. And you can see, you've only got 1 minute and 28 seconds left, right? Time burns really fast in this game.
I've located a nest. Not so fast, friend. Ha-ha! Problem solved.
We're playing a little too far back here. We want to be more up with our team. Like what? Like right here. We see our team is already like going up here. Like Venom's already up there, Fantastic's already up there, and we're going off. We're like taking the scenic route right now. Yeah, we wanna be up here faster. This is gonna result in an unnecessary lack of healing from your team. You also have your ultimate ready, which is very big, and you want to be in a position to be able to use it when you need it for your team.
Everybody needs a hand sometimes. Or a dagger.
So right here, I know these guys are actually fighting, but our Loki is like 1 HP over here. We need to like focus him right now. Like realistically, he shouldn't get out of here alive. He should probably die, but we want to try and save him. I mean, we're taking way too long to heal that guy. That needs to be instant turn, instant heal. I'd also really consider ulting here, especially because it would save your Loki. You can see into the position where he's probably gonna die because he's like walking into a strength right now. Yeah, I would be ulting this because it's also a committed fight. So you get the value of saving this guy and providing your defensive ulti for this committed fight. And by doing so, you'll hopefully win this point. So he did not need to die. I know he didn't play it the best. Like, there's no reason he needs to walk into a little pocket and die because strangers diving him. But we could have saved him, and it would be very worth for us to save him there with our ulti. Like right here, we ult as well. Like we've got a Cloak and Dagger attacking us in the back here, and we're kind of just ignoring it and tanking it. Yeah. I mean, look at their penny was like 1 HP. This by all means should have been a one fight. I mean, I wonder, do you guys still win this? Kill Jeff. I think their team comes back and cleans you up. Well, kind of a bit of a wacky fight.
Down to 30 seconds.
I mean, you guys definitely had an advantage for a while. But okay, now I see we're ulting. Do keep in mind, I think we would have won this fight a lot quicker if we'd ulted before. It definitely could have not gone in your favor, for sure.
You need to stop that vehicle in its track.
Yeah, like this. We're not hiding behind a wall right now because we know, we can see that we're not under a lot of pressure, right? There's no enemies up here or here, and there's no one right here. So we're perfectly fine for standing right here and pocketing our team. And what I want you to be aware of now is making sure that when our team pushes forward and is like taking space and going maybe like past this corner, we need to adjust our positioning in relation to where they're going, right? So let's see what happens now. We'll say we did miss our dome. One thing to make the dome landing easier is to jump when you throw it because it gives you a better angle to see where to land it on the ground.
Everybody needs a hand sometimes. Or a dagger.
One of your guys got critically low there for a second. That dome could have made that difference if they had died. That's a good E. Good job.
Trouble has arrived.
Also, I just want to clarify, when I say E, I mean Dagger's like healing rectangle that she throws. That's what I mean by her E. That's what it's on PC. Okay, so I want us to be a little bit more aware of the people on our team who are at the most risk of dying and need the most help from us. Alright? And a lot of the time that's going to be your front line because they're going to be having the most attention on them and they are going to be taking a ton of damage, right? And so right now in this position, we've got a Wolverine in the front here who's very deep, and we have a Thing right here. And these are the people that we need to definitely be aware of and keeping alive. One of these guys is a Loki, I'm not sure which right now. But regardless, we need to keep these guys alive. And we're playing in a position right now where we actually have, sorry, that thing is super loud. We have natural cover blocking our line of sight to our front line, right? We've got the cart in our way, and we've got this cube thing in our way, right? And you're right in thinking, as Cloak and Dagger, you don't want to unnecessarily be too close, but you also don't want to unnecessarily be too far. Like, playing right here is absolutely fine right now. And there will be situations where you'll play somewhere like here and an enemy will pressure you, like a magic will die or something. However, there are ways to respond to that situation, right? And you can't always just completely avoid that situation because standing way back here is going to lose the game anyways, right? So we need to be a little bit further up in a position where we're able to help support the allies who need it. All right. So here, I'm concerned that we're gonna have teammates die. This whole time, we're actually not even looking at our front line right now. We're like looking at the ground. We were aware that he was taking damage. That was good. We should have dropped our dome on him though. Like, he's low as heck right here. Throw your dome, throw your E, keep this guy alive, please. Not to mention as well, if you had pocketed him a little bit more with that dome, you're at 99 to ult, so we could have potentially ulted to save him. And you can see after he dies, this fight gets a lot more scary. Now the attention goes to you now that Wolverine's dead. You end up dying. And that's how fast, I mean, 2 picks will make a huge difference here. I mean, look. I'd strongly argue that without those picks, we probably would cap this point easy peasy. Look at there, look how low the range is. Oh, there he goes. Yeah. That kind of mistake will make the difference. So that's just a situation where we're not focusing the critically low health people and using everything we have to save them as much as we should. Okay, so here I want you to be aware, your team is not all here yet. You see your Venom is going in with your Wolverine as well before your whole team is actually here. Like Thor's all the way back here, Fantastic's on the way, Loki isn't here to heal yet, right? So I'd be kind of calming again. This Venom is going in a lot when they shouldn't really be. So I'd be calming, saying, hey, let's wait for our team to regroup here because I don't really want us going in here yet. You see, we're dropping down, and this is the kind of position that I'd want to see us in, as compared to before, where we're playing too far back, like behind the cart. Probably a bit more over to the left here, though. I don't like dropping out here, because, I mean, there was a Penny behind us, and there's also an Iron Fist not dropping behind, but Penny we could hear before, so we should be aware of that, and not just kind of walking out, not looking at her. So I'd maybe be going around where Loki's going, playing right here. I think that'd be better. I know your team is going in right now, but they really shouldn't be when to calm that. And again, it's a situation before where we don't want to risk just going in and dying before our whole team is there. You see, you actually took a bunch of damage and were forced to ult right here. And usually I would say that this is actually a good use of ulti because we're like, our team is in a committed fight. They use the defensive, and we need to make you're at risk of dying, and I would argue your team is at risk of dying too if we don't use a defensive. Um, the problem is though that not your whole team is back for this fight yet, and we want to avoid using defensive ultis and committing to a big fight before our whole team is there. We want to wait until everyone's there. Okay, I do like swapping the cloak and doing damage in the ulti. That said, when you do that, your primary focus should be landing your vulnerable and dealing damage to their backline, wherever you can find them. In this case, I mean, I think they're kind of hidden more. I mean, cloak's over here. There you can do Jeff, but he can't be hit by vulnerable wall while he's underground, at least in terms of the amplified damage received, and they also heal a lot, so they're not really the best person to focus. That said, though, you're not really looking around for it in the first place. So we see right when you come out ulti, we're kind of just, I don't know, we're like following this Penny over here, and I mean, your damage in cloak is very low, right? Doing it the Penny is not going to do anything. She has a shield as well in her ulti. This is not the target we focus right now. Right now we want to try and focus on any squishy who's out of position. And if we don't find anyone like that, we go back to doing our job as Dagger and just healing. We also don't want to use our Fade in our ulti, because we shouldn't need to. We only use that if we absolutely have to. Your Fade is in a very important move that way you want to keep off cooldown when you can. That way you have a safety net. You also notice that your ult doesn't actually last that long. They did nerf it for I think this season 1.5. It used to last a lot longer, but what they did was they made it so that each one of your dashes will happen faster in repetition, meaning there's less delay, which actually is really good for dodging like Magneto ult and stuff like that. but it means that the overall duration of the ult's shorter. But they also made it so they reduced the duration of your ult by, it was like for each path for like 2 or 3 seconds. The combine of those adjustments makes your ult pretty short. So you want to be aware that you need to go back to doing your job as healing relatively fast. So I do like switching Cloak and getting our offensive play out. Um, but you can see you've got people that are going off and fighting here now, and your ult is over, so it's not going to help them anymore. And also, they weren't even playing in your ult. You want to be aware of people that aren't inside your ulti and heal them when you need to.
My time to shine. You'll have to
We're
keep fighting
playing
until you're the winner.
we've gone back to our playing too scared, too passive. I'm gonna guess that you're probably also, concerned because you used your fade there. So that's a reason to not use it when you don't need to. You've also got all of your utility up, like your dome is up and your healing wall is up, and your Thor is like getting rolled over here right now. Sorry, not Thor, Venom.
Everybody needs a hand sometimes. Or a dagger.
We want to throw down our healing utility for sure.
A hand sometimes. Or a dagger.
Like we need to focus Venom. I know right here he does end up getting lamped and gets all his health restored, and once you see Venom in the lamp, sure, then it's like, okay, my team's safe. We see they're all on the lamp over here, they're safe. But until that happens, we need to be focusing the people that are critically low. Your primary job is keeping your team alive. You do a really good job of that. Your focus on damage should be minimal. Like, I mean, look how much you just tickle this guy. But we were literally tickling him. We are the tickle monster when it comes to damage. So we want to prioritize keeping our team up with our heals and only deal damage when it is appropriate to. Oh no, you guys C9'd it? Oh no! You know what? I bet people saw the clone and were thinking that someone was on point, bro. Okay, I mean, the C9 is ridiculous. But that's not your fault. I mean, your front line should be on the point for sure. I mean, if you notice that it's getting, really close and someone needs to stay on point, then, walk on there. But that is a bit, that's not really your fault. The front line should be there. Yeah, I will say at this position, where your whole team is very far up in this map. It should probably be a bit further back, but we're playing here with the teams here, so alright.
Do your worst.
I think we're focusing a little bit too much on damage still. I know there isn't like a ton of healing to be done, but I mean, your Wolverine is like half HP right now. Fantastic's actively brawling, and you're also damaged too, and you can heal by hitting one of these guys in front of you. Just your damage on Cloak is very limited, and the primary reason I would swap the Cloak to be offensive at all is just to throw the vulnerable wall. You don't need to be using the primary attack this much.
My time to shine. I'll get you next time.
Like you should be using the primary attack when you're like really like trying to actually kill someone. Like when someone has made a mistake and you have the opportunity of killing them.
Everybody needs a hand sometimes. Or a dagger.
Okay, we also didn't look at the magic at all.
Everybody needs a hand sometimes.
Like the second you hear that, you need to look. See where she is. Cause magic is actually, I mean, at this rank, I wouldn't really expect one to, but magics can absolutely delete you if they're their combos. Well, they can charge up their little thing where they throw a projectile and then dash into you and like combo the heck out of you. So she's someone you need to be a bit more aware of because when you have her start to combo you, you need to be like fading away his cloak pretty fast, or throwing your dome to try and pocket yourself by healing with the dome and hitting her too. Because it'll heal you. So we need to be like, you hear a magic, you look at magic. They just to at least know where she is. If you look at her and she then is like fighting someone else or walking away or for some reason like isn't a danger, cool. But just look at her for a second, make sure we know what's going on with her. Like I'm hearing those footsteps and I'm thinking, oh god, Magic's charging a right click and she's gonna try and kill me.
Thanks. Everybody needs a hand.
A Magic slot. I mean, at that point, I'd probably think that she's on my teammates. I might need to burst heal them. And you don't want to. Oh yeah, look at Loki. Look what's happening to Loki. Oh, she's ready. Look how Loki got. You know, he died. That's the kind of reason, because I mean, Loki can save himself, but not every character can do that.
Time for some fireworks.
So you want to be a little bit aware of threats around you. Not just to yourself. Threats around you to your team as a whole.
Glad to help.
Okay, I know it was a little quiet, but we just heard their strange say I'm opening a portal, which means they're going to be opening a portal from here, probably to site here. So at this point, we need to tell our team, hey, they're portaling, and have our team get ready to back up, because we do not want to let them get to site before us. Yeah, what's happening here now is our team is, I think, realizing about the portal
Thanks.
a little bit too late. Okay, also, the second that you see Hela shots, which are these green whoosh, whoosh, right? When you see those, we need to instantly be out of our line of sight. Because against any, I mean, it doesn't even need to be the world's best Hela, and against any Hela who can decently, like, kind of hit shots, she is very scary. And is someone that that's the kind of character that, you know how before you were kind of playing a little bit too much hiding behind a wall, right? Hela is the kind of character where you'd be a little bit more hiding behind the wall. Like that makes sense. We're a little bit more scared of Hela. Not to the degree that you were doing earlier, but definitely to a degree. So I don't like us seeing Hela. Alright, we saw shots, and then we were like looking around. There are more shots going on. Like it only actually takes 2 knives to kill you if she lands double headshot. So it's it's unlikely they'll land instant double headshot on you, especially at like silver. But like you don't want to take that chance though, right? Having a support die off the rip is kind of really bad and is a high chance of just instantly losing the point. So this is very scary. Anyways, back to this portal. I was saying, I think your team responded a little late. However, their team also appeared to be quite unaware of this portal happening. You'll see their Hela is still main. It also really wasn't a great portal. They dropped it. They dropped it on top of site here, which means that their team is instantly committing without any cover whatsoever. And I mean, they can do something like that after opening of Loki ult, but it really isn't ideal, because I mean they don't want to have to instantly use the ulti. Yeah, let's see how fast it took Hela to kill you. It's like, boom, just death, right? So just like we were sitting on main, it's something that we needed to respect, right? Looking at this specific situation, if we see Hela here, I get hit by one of those shots and she's focusing me down, we are switching to Cloak immediately, alright? We are switching to Cloak and we are fading. Because we need to not die here. And also, fun fact, I know that you have fade off cooldown here because it'll tell you on the bottom right if your fade and E are off cooldown. Just something to notice. I actually didn't know that when I first started playing Cloak. But you can see your fade is not, there's no little timer here, so your fade is off cooldown. So we can swap to Cloak instantly and fade. And you know, if she's a goat on Hela, she might just top you before you even have the chance. But like that's how bad this position is. We're caught out here. We're caught in a bad situation, and we want to try our best to bail ourselves out of it. Like even right here, we can hear the Hela shots coming behind us. With the whoosh, 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 right? So I'd be kind of making my way over to this wall. That way I have the option of walking away, cause I don't want to be caught out here with a Hela. I mean, what? Let's look at her perspective real quick. Ready? Watch this. Boop, 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 boop. Dead. Like, it's so easy if you can hit the shots in Hela. Okay. So in this situation, we need to be really considering ulting here, because what we don't want to have happen is these guys get picked. Because that's gonna decrease our odds of being able to hold this point. And if we're not able to stop them from getting picked with our basic healing kit, we need to ult. So I see we're gonna start like trying to heal them here with our E. We should be throwing right click here. We don't want to throw, or we don't want to reload before we're throwing right click. But even if we had thrown, sorry, it's L2 for you. The dome is what I mean by right click. But even if we had thrown dome here, I'm very concerned about these guys dying. I'm ulting this. I do not want to take the chance and have these guys die. It is not worth taking that chance. Yeah, and your Venom dying there is really bad. Now, I mean, we just heard Hell Unleashed, which is the Hela's ultimate. That is definitely something we want to be ulting for our team, because while our team is in position where they can get the cover here, like I think that Fantastic and Wolverine can probably both make it there. You can see the point's about to be capped, right? So we don't want to let them cap that point. So we need to try and ult and stop them from capping point. And if you don't ult, then people on point that are trying to stop from being capped are just going to get Hela ulted. And Cloak's ult will out heal Hela's ultimate, right? So this like big blast that happened on the ground, your ult will heal enough to the point where people can't die to that. You dying there is really bad, especially with ulti. We never want to be dying with our support ulti. Yeah, and we do end up losing that point. We had a very strong chance of winning that point if we'd ulted sooner, for sure. Okay, we get nailed by Hela and we back off. I like it. It's a good choice. I wouldn't go back here. I definitely would not go back here. This is death. And I know you see you're fantastic here, but we need to be getting back here, and our team needs to. I mean, at this point, it's up to your Fantastic and Venom to understand that they are 2 versus like 6 right now. I mean, I guess 3 if you count Spider-Man, but this is not a winning fight, right? This is the same situation before. We need to be regrouping and getting our whole team back and playing as a team. And you can be the person to calm that. I mean, actually, one thing I'll say as well is as Cloak and Dagger and other supports, but especially Cloak and Dagger, you are going to be playing in the back a lot, right? Which means that you see everything. You see where all your teammates are. You see where all of them are, right? So until higher ranks where people get more awareness and kind of know where their team is probably playing at without looking behind them, you're going to have a lot more awareness than your whole team, right? Because you can see it. So you're in a good position to call out to your team and say, hey, let's fall back, let's regroup. Well, a lot of our team is dead right now. Let's not get staggered. And say the word staggered. It's very scary and people respect it. The word staggered sends shivers down the spines of ranked players. Yeah, this is okay, there's a really big issue of this, okay? And the issue is that you maybe we can fade and get out here and pocket ourselves a dome and walk. I really don't. There's no way. There's no way we walk out here and get out, right? We are going to have to walk all the way back here. And the issue is that, I mean, a Fantastic died already, it's bad. But the problem is that these guys are going to get so much space on this cart, okay? Because our team is playing up here. They're Fantastic staggered, and we're gonna regroup. And by the time we regroup, they're gonna get through this choke here, all right? And the problem with that is this choke is something that you really want to try and hold for a decent amount of time. There's high ground here, there's high ground here, there's flanker out here, there's flanker out here. This is a pretty decent area to hold on the map, and we don't want to just lose it for free. And you walking over here, and perhaps not commenting to your team that we need to fall back. I mean, the fact that you're walking up here kind of tells me that we're probably not aware of the fact that we need to regroup here. So us not regrouping is a very big issue because they're going to get a lot of free space with this cart, and we're going to miss out on this opportunity to actually hold a really nasty choke as well. So, I mean, watch from their perspective. Ready? Watch this. La 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 la. La 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 la. Alright guys, let's keep 3 on cart. I guess Spider-Man's going to stall for 0.1 sec. What in the world was that cloak ulti? I mean, by all means, they should have 3 on cart right now and just be like speed running this, right? And they did not need to cloak ult that. That was a waste. You get the idea though. Like a decent team sits 3 on cart here and they get all the space for free without having to fight for it. Like this choke is no longer a play. Also, us dying was really bad. Because, I mean, look, they just killed our Strange before we even back in the fight here. We are definitely holding onto our ult too long. Before it wasn't a good time to use it on the last little area because our team wasn't there. But like we didn't ult for the first point, like the big circle area before the cart spawns. We didn't ult there, and we've also staggered and haven't had the chance to ult now because we staggered. So we are not getting the value that we should be with our ultimate right now. Okay, those little heals, those little click, 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 those little heals that you're healing top right, those are the sound of death, okay? That is the goddess of death right there. That is Hela, okay? You hear those heals, you need to be ready to take cover, okay? You can hear it. I can hear it. It's like in my ear right there. You need to be very careful because all it takes is 2 headshots and you're done, alright? And actually, in your case, 1 headshot, 1 body shot, because you're actually missing a little bit of health. That would kill you here. And this is somewhere where she can just look at you and kill you. So be very aware of threats. That does seem like a little bit of a blind spot of us right now. We're not constantly aware of threats, especially from audio. We're going off on a little field trip again. You can see your Venom's in yellow right now. Be a little bit more active with your team here. No field trips. I'm wondering if maybe you're trying to like scout out to like figure out where's a good place to play. I'm guessing that might be what you're doing. Which case, you know, if you're, you know, learning the maps more, understandable. You know, get comfortable with the map, find out where the good spots to play are. I'll tell you right here, best spot is probably just chilling right here. You can play natural cover here. If people are playing up here, you can just call out their top left, and people can address it, and you should be safe. Do be careful about playing in positions where natural cover, including the cart, blocks your ability to heal your front line. That's why this spot isn't the best. This cart blocks it. This cube also blocks anyone playing right here. This cube also does block, you know, right here a little bit, but it's less. You have more of an angle on main right here, where you can see, because we can see like right here on main. On here, we can only see like right here on main, right? So it's got less of an angle. This gives you a much better view in relation to natural cover. I like the fade. I think it's good. I think Iron Fist was pressuring you, and I think that's a good response. I don't like walking all the way back here though. If the Iron Fist is good, when you fade away like that, they can see you. They can't see you, but they can see like a ring of smoke around you. Like, that, they can see this little ring, right? So if they see the ring, uh, then they're going to follow it, and especially if they notice that the ring is going over here, away from the enemy Cloak and Dagger's team, they'll probably follow it and kill you because they know that you're alone, right? Imagine they did that right there, right? They followed the ring, dead, right? And your team won't be there to help you. When you come out of Cloak Fade, throw a vulnerable wall before you switch back to Dagger, because it takes like a tiny fraction of a second to do that, and it's a lot of value. Like whenever when you're playing Cloak and Dagger, you should weave in vulnerable walls whenever you can, in ways that don't take away from the rest of your kit, like the rest of your responsibilities. Focusing on damage too much there as well. Your Wolverine, or sorry, not Wolverine. Your Venom was critically low. Watch, ready? So I'm okay with throwing the vulnerable wall if we need to reload. Like I would have been okay with it there, but we threw like 2 shots and are now reloading with Cloak and Dagger, or the cloak switch again, while we have people on our team that are critically low. So this is like forcing it a little bit too much. We need to be aware that our front line is dying here. I do like us throwing a vulnerable wall on Penny, because I mean it's a good use of it, right? We are pressuring people that have an opportunity to be killed, right? That's good. But we can't do it at the expense of keeping our team up, right? So right here, we need to be pocketing this guy and helping our Venom here. And then what's happening is we are continuing the focus on Penny, while Venom's over here like crying in the corner, please give me some healing. I'm going to die. And he dies, right? So, and Penny gets away. We don't kill her, right? Like, I'd be less forgiving if we actually killed Penny, but that wasn't even an option. She easily gets away because we're Cloak. We don't do that much damage. And now we switch back to Dagger, and we're down a player, right? So that's very bad. Yep, I agree. It's a good fade. Only thing is, if you're gonna fade, I would go all the way around here, because I want us to get back to our team and not die. I think against stronger players, you could end up dying anyways. You could wait a second for your fade as well until Hela fires her first shot at you, just to guarantee that you don't die to her. I'm guessing she has an angle here to hit you even if you're hugging the wall. I'm not sure, but if you wait a second before fading and just like wait until she actually shoots at you, then you could guarantee that you make it through here without getting hit. Now we're kind of stuck in an awkward position. We're cut off from team. I agree. I think that we walk around, but I mean we're taking so long. We're taking too long here. This is any second that you're not with your team while they're actually fighting is really bad, because the value you provide is huge and your team really can't function without it. So I want you to look at everything that happens while you're not here. All right? I mean, they gotta pick in Loki. These guys are brawling. Your Loki is dead, so he can't heal. Look at this. Look at all of this damage you could be healing right now. And only now does it start to kick in, right? These guys, I mean, Fantastic is very low now. We need to be faster on throwing the utility for healing as well. That's game. Yeah, another thing to consider is, imagine if we were, oh, I need to get out of slow-mo. If we had gone back to where we're playing our team, then it would have allowed us to get a ton of healing in and potentially get ultimate. Because we are at 69% right now, so we're fairly close. So you want to make sure that you are actively participating in fights whenever you can. You want to always be there. So First of all, I wouldn't have faded over here, and second of all, if you did, I would do my best to get back to that fight as soon as possible and minimize time away from my team. Okay, so main things to take away. Number one, we need to make sure that we are not staggering. Recognize when your team is in a situation where they are at a numbers deficit, and both you yourself go back and regroup with your team and wait for them to get back, and calm to your team. Tell them to regroup. Don't risk staggering. It makes a very, very, very big difference, and it's super easy to fix. Number two, I think we are holding on to our ult a bit too much. We there's a few opportunities where we definitely could have used it and should have used it in a way that would help us win a fight. And your ultimate is a very, very, very large part of the way that you impact the game, both in general and especially as Cloak and Dagger or a strategist with a defensive ultimate. So you want to make the best use of it as you can. We are also spending a little bit too much time and focus towards dealing damage as Cloak. Cloak is very limited in what they can do in damage, and Dagger's healing capabilities greatly outmatch Cloak's damage capabilities. Um, your job is to keep your team sustained and weave in Cloak vulnerable walls whenever you can, without taking away from keeping your team up and healing them. We also want to make sure, like I said, in terms of focus, that we are aware of people on our team that are critically low and need our healing the most. There are times that we are focusing on dealing damage even as Dagger, when we can and should be healing people who are, less than half HP. That is very important. We also want to be careful about playing in positions where natural cover blocks us off from our team, including the cart. That is very important to avoid, as it will make it, impossible to heal the people that are being pressured on your team. And last thing I can think of right now that we want to focus on is also being a bit more aware of threats, especially flanking characters that are attacking us. I don't think we actually died too much to people flanking us. However, I would be concerned about other games where we died to flankers because it seemed like we were a little bit too unaware or not quite respecting the threat of certain characters behind us, like Hela or Magic. Well, thank you so much for participating. I hope this helps. If you have any questions or feedback for me, please feel free to respond. Thank you so much.